RuPaul Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's Sunday. VD! Aren't we excited? Yes, it's Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2021. Welcome to Comes Out Loud Drag Race, Season 13, Episode number 7. Because we're tuning into the Bossy Rossy Ruboot. You're muted.
Okay, RuPaul, come on. Like, we get it. We know your name. We got to change everything that starts with an RE into an RU.
Of course.
Like, come on.
Of course.
Come on.
So for those of you that have just tuning in now, my name is Gary. With me is my ever fabulous co-host.
Hello, it's Damon. Welcome, welcome. That bitch.
Child.
That bitch. Great, you over here.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what you think.
This bitch.
Who, me? No.
Yeah. Yes, you.
Y'all missed something in pre-show, but anyways,
Huh?
maybe you didn't. It's hard to say.
Mm.
That being said, I'm not gonna live this down. Let's get into our first segment, shall we?
Sure.
Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best woman win.
All right. Actually, I just realized I need to update that clip
Oh.
because
Yeah.
this season she no longer says "May the best woman win." She now says "May the best drag queen win."
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if she even says gentleman. I'm trying to think if they changed all of it. I'll have to remember.
It only took us 7 episodes in the new season to realize we got to change up a sound cue. Whoops.
Oh well.
All right.
Put it on the board. Mark it down.
Yeah. All right. Time to put the pedal to the metal, children. What are our overall thoughts on episode number 7 of the 13th season, Bossy Rossy After Dark?
After dark.
It's the improv challenge, children.
Yes.
So, some typical things happen. Some people have experience, some people have none.
Mm-hmm.
And the edit, of course, is misleading, but you know.
Oh shit.
However, we open up with Mama Ru coming into the room after the little kiki session between the girls, and she announces that the library is open.
Yes.
So we get to a little bit of a reading challenge. And like all reading challenges, some rise to the occasion and some do not.
Uh-huh.
So David, what were your thoughts on the episode overall?
Okay. Let me type. There we go. Trying to type in that reading is fundamental. So I wrote down some predictions are wrong.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. So if everyone knows, I have this wonderful little notepad that I use whenever I watch the episode, and I write shit down.
Mm-hmm.
I always do. It's one of the things I do. Go ahead and hit that spoiler alert, because this is literally like...
You mean this?
Yada. So one of the, like, right in the beginning, one of the first things I wrote was prediction. And I wrote prediction. Elliot is going home. And I started, and I was like, oh. Because the episode starts with her feeling ostracized from the girls, and feel like she's giving her moments. She's having her like her feels. She's up in her feels about the whole thing, and I was like, okay, so this is an All About Elliot episode. Which, if you watch the program and you know the formula, like when we get to start knowing the girl, suddenly they ass is going home. Like that's kind of been the formula. So I wrote that down, and sure enough, it was wrong. Now, and also, like, it didn't help that she sucked in the reading challenge, like, oh, honey, crash, burn, like fire, like it's reading needs to be sharp. Reading needs to be like pointed and calculated. You need to know exactly what you're going to say. You need to say it. They need to say it quick, succinct. Like you don't give us this whole like story bullshit. Like we need is the thing. That's kind of why God meant one. Um, Spoiler. Anyway, the reading challenge. So my biggest thing was I was expecting, because we learn a lot about her and we learn about what's going on in her head and what's going on with her, and then we get into the challenge, and she's struggle bus. She's got Tina as her partner, which okay, and then we get into the runway, and she looks good. Don't get me wrong, I liked her look. I really liked it actually. And then we get into this point where here we are, and oh, look who's in the bottom two, and yeah. But as I said, predictions can be wrong, and I was wrong. I'm not let's say who went home yet, but
Right.
I am saying like I was a little surprised by that. There are a couple of other things that I was predicting because you based on, Simone was going to be worried about her performance in the improv challenge because she had Candy who was going to try to do this very taking the judges' critiques from last week and trying to do something that's not as loud and obnoxious. Thank the Lord. Um, Hallelujah. Um, and she was worried because in this challenge you kind of needed that. Um, and then we get to their point, and they were good. Like they were one of the best, I will admit. Yeah. So there's a couple of things like that I was very like, oh, that sometimes predictions can be wrong. So yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you that the storyline, the edit, the tradition got flipped on us at the last moment. Because I've listened to enough of Alaska and Willem's podcast, and Willem over the years has revealed a ton about how entertainment is made in Hollywood, like filming and production and all these things, and about how the reason why Willem behaved the way they did in their season is because they were very seasoned as an actor, as a person in front of a camera on film sets around the crew, and so she was really way ahead of the game, and also had an exit strategy and was like, I'm not sticking around after this certain episode. I got my ass needs to be in New York City, like on this calendar date. So she was intentionally trying to get kicked off the show. And had all season long been doing things to create a story arc for a reason for her to be removed, and was actually, from the sounds of it, annoying production. So that doesn't surprise me. But anyways, there's been some insights to that kind of stuff. So I totally agree. Like watching the episode, I was like, well, this sucks because they're really developing the backstory of Elliot. She and Tina have a moment, and she opens up to Tina about her clinical depression and how that makes her pretty reserved and affects her personality. Tina talks about, that was a weird moment, honestly, when Tina in confessional gets a little emotional. I was annoyed by the moment because I didn't think it was manufactured. I was annoyed by the moment because Tina seemed to be trying really hard to keep a good, positive, upbeat face in front of the camera 100% of the time. And I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what's that about? Like, why are we afraid to show our emotions? Like, to have a moment, and be human. And it's not that she's not human otherwise, but she's been consistently her character. So to have this moment where she knows what it's like to be raised in a home with someone who's depressed, and how every day you just don't know what that day is going to be like. I was like, Okay, good, good, good. Like we're having a heart moment. We're teaching the children's like,
Mm-hmm.
that these things exist, and that they have impacts on those around them, and and blah blah blah. But it was a little odd to me that Dina was like super struggling in that confessional, like to pull it together, and I was like, why are we fighting so hard for this?
I don't know.
Like, I'm like, to me, that's much more intriguing now about Tina. I'm like, ooh, girl, like Great Wall of China. How many borders, how many things have you built up around you that you like don't want people to get inside? Is
Mm-hmm.
that why you come across as a bitter, catty, like snarky, sassy queen all the time? Because that's not a surprise. That's psychologically, pretty self evident. People who use humor, who exhibit humor a lot, usually are covering up for other things. It's just the nature of how they are. Take it from me. So, yeah, like I mean, I agree. Like you were expecting, da, 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 and you get Elliot in the bottom two. Not a surprise, but Elliot doesn't go home,
No.
which I'm okay with
Mm-hmm.
because I thought Elliot did better in the lip sync battle. So there's that. I was surprised. I was like, okay, I guess she's going home. Oh, she's not going home. Okay, interesting. Um, for the episode overall, I said let the improv judgment begin.
Ha ha ha.
And here's why. As a person who has never done improv, studied improv, I know that I can be witty and sarcastic very quickly, and I can
Mm-hmm.
banter. So I think that I can do improv, but I don't know if I can do improv.
Yeah.
Because the concept is you are suspending reality in an
Mm-hmm.
acting like situation where there aren't very many rules. So
Yeah.
there's no predicting the future. You don't know what the next thing is and what's going to happen and how that's going to work. Some people don't work that way. Some people really like have everything planned out ahead of time. I'm probably that kind of person. So I don't know how well I would do, but I know that viewers and the internet are going to have opinions about this
Oh yeah.
episode and who was ready and who wasn't. I can
Yeah.
already sense that some people are going to think that the Elliot Tina thing was kind of like the Nina Brooklyn, where one just
Mm-hmm.
powerhoused over the other and didn't really
Mm-hmm.
give the other one a whole lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know how fair that is.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think we need that in their particular episode. I will admit. Okay, so the usual situation that I had to deal with these kind of moments is you if you're here in regards to like your ability, improv, acting, whatever,
mhm,
and then your partner is here,
right,
then you have to find some way to be here.
right,
So that usually means you have to come down a little and then they have to bring it up. It's not always going to happen,
right.
but that's how it makes a balance. And I will admit one of my biggest problems with some of these improv challenges on the show is it's okay to have two people and Ross kind of bantering and going off of that.
Right.
When you add another person into it, it splits it and it dilutes the focus of just that much more. Ooh, words are hard. So you got to we got two like ones that were three people. Um, the not Rose, the Gottmik, Utica, and Olivia one.
Mm-hmm.
The story could have worked if everyone was kind of good and balanced on the things. Because for the most part, one of the actors could not talk. The whole mime thing, like you could mime things and you can make it work. But that was the like kind of the thing that could have helped the whole like balance thing. In the Rose, Lala, Rhea, and Denali one, the two people that came out first were kind of in the same boat, and then you had their doctor friend who was played by Lala come out and is there to discuss the situation and talk about the psychosis or whatever. I never quite got what the doctor was supposed to be about. I'll be honest. And it didn't help that. And it didn't help the situation, and it didn't help the improv. It didn't help it yes and do what it needed to do. I know Lala Ree indicated that she was going to try to go like Shanae from the Martin show. In that, it never got a chance to go there. So,
Yeah.
it just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was challenging no matter what, depending on who was doing what and where in that moment. Like, I have to agree in the pit stop that, like, the one moment that Lala Ree had that was funny was the goof on the fact that her baby bump was the wrong shade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, part of me was like, for real? Like, y'all could...
Yeah.
But then I was like, it's funny, but it's weird. Like, you know... I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. I mean, it definitely goes to show that some came to play and understood what they needed to do.
Yes.
You know, Simone slayed it
Mm-hmm.
because Deborah,
Uh-huh.
you know, was a distinctive character, had a lot of things prepared. I was very nervous for Candy because it became super apparent once Deborah showed up that Candy wasn't meeting the level.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, she was trying earnestly to rein it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I don't know, it was discomforting kind of watching this whole improv like situation because I'm like, I feel like Candy's holding back. She did have one brief moment where she kind of popped because I think she wasn't focusing as much on character. So yeah, I mean,
I thought it worked. I'll put it like that. I think it worked for what they were trying to do.
mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of where I'm going with it. Is it wasn't awful, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, you guys are so amazing.
Right.
With what's her name? With Simone, however, it brought the energy way back up, and Candy needed to come up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, and she was slowly getting there, but it wasn't it wasn't a fast enough like jump. You know, this is the way they make it, the way they kind of were telling their story, and you know, as I'm remembering the improv, like they were best friends and they did this TV show together, and then they had a falling out, and she kicked her out. You know, she kicked Deborah out, or Little Deb or whatever they call her, and then they're back and they're being reunited. I wanted Candy to be a little bit more shocked, upset, something bigger
Mm-hmm.
than what we got, and then it kind of grow from there. We didn't. While I understand and respect that you're using, like, you're taking the judges' critique seriously, and you need to show that, you had a moment where you could have amped it up a bit more and still kept it a little subdued. Again, you don't need to go to 60. Maybe go to like 40 and 45 and then 50, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah. So I really feel like public audience, whatever, people are going to have opinions about how the improv thing goes. Yet again, someone shoots themselves in the foot. Oh, I've done it for years. I've been a bunch of different groups, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It goes one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're going to be really good and you're going to like fulfill your own destiny in being the seasoned veteran person, or it's not going to go well. And in this case, it happens to be option B. And my feeling on it is, if you've been told that you showboat in improv and that you steal the seat or whatever, don't do that. Just going to say.
Wait, do you mean like don't steal the spotlight or don't do what she just did?
Both? Weren't they the same thing?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of that. You ready to move on?
Sure.
Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Cover
All right, children, it's time to stomp the runway. In this particular episode, category is Beat It or Beat It Up. I've heard both, which is very confusing to me. Because the first time I swore Mama Ru said beat it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So is this about beat a mug? Like, this will be an interesting take if it's literally beat it. Like, of course, I expect someone to do a Michael Jackson, like, homage thing, you know. I mean, just like, I had all these things, and then I realized pretty quickly, oh, no. Bead.
Bead.
It. Yes, as in
Bead
beads.
it.
Yes.
Bead it.
So there was that.
Pronunciate those consonants.
Or take out, you know, the earwax in my ears, apparently. I don't know.
Or that, yeah.
So, David, what did you think of the runway looks for this episode?
I wrote down some great takes, but Tina, we gotta talk. So, yes, there were some very interesting takes. We got this whole Mardi Gras theme, which I am, again, like, how did it's so weird to me that the judges were kind of aware that, you know, Mardi Gras coming up, like I think on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So it just seemed very weird, coincidental that this happened. Because there were a lot of like green, purple, and gold, you know, Mardi Gras bead themed runway looks. Yes, there were some great looks. I was blown away by Simone. I loved Denali's, the whole chandelier thing. I really loved that. I like Elliot's even, as I mentioned earlier. I like the kind of flapper bead thing that was going. I don't know who made that, but it looks really good. Shows just enough, like, you know, skin to be kind of, oh, that's pretty, scintillating. But Miss Tina, we need to discuss your fascination with the colors red, yellow, and orange. Because neither one of those colors went with the outfit you were wearing. Yet you chose to wear a red, orange wig with this outfit. Jim said it was because she looked like a clown, or she's a clown. Fair. But the outfit was bad. Like, I'm just gonna say it, like, it was bad. I get that maybe you were kind of going for campy factor, but the camp wasn't there. It just looked bad. You had these very obvious, like, cone bra bead things on your top, and you had a reveal. Does anyone remember the reveal? I only remember it because I just saw it in Pit Stop. But like, then you had the whole reveal of the cone, like the cone bra comes off, not the cones, but the breast-shaped
Right.
bead things come off, and then we have these obviously super fake breasts that don't match your skin tone at all, coming out of this top that have like bead pasties on them. And no, I didn't like it. I did not like it at all. I thought it was a mess. I thought you were trying to go for something and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had gone full on clown, I might have thought it was good. But that's not, I don't think that's what you were going for. And it didn't work. It did not land. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm getting a little tired of these three colors that you seem to keep wearing. And this would have been a very fun opportunity for you to have worn a different wig. Or a turban. Thank you, sweetie. Just done something else to add to the to um the fun of it. I might have been forgiving of this if there had been something redeemable about the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't. To me, it kind of crashed and burned. It wasn't fitting well. It didn't fit well. The reveal was shit. You had these little beads on the dress top that I think should have been shorter or something. And I just needed something else to go with it. And the orange wig just threw me completely off because it was not necessary at all. Gary?
Uh, so, do you remember the memes that went around for a while from Mommy Dearest?
Yeah, kind of.
So, there's one where Mommy Dearest, like everybody gets to have something but her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of what this is an homage to. I ended up ultimately saying, no real failures, except Tina. Because, so here's the thing, because I'll start, since you left off with Tina, I'll start with that. The orange hair didn't bother me, only because I have seen some creepy fucking dolls in my lifetime. And so to see a Mardi Gras gold, purple, and green clown with bright ass orange hair didn't seem out of the realm of reality to me, because I've seen some pretty fucking creepy like shit that people like to collect and put up on their walls or whatever, or in their cabinets. So I was like, well, that's somewhat realistic. It's not my personal taste or favorite. But I do agree that like it just wasn't the best outfit necessarily, and that the beaded breast covers were better than the actual breasts once they got revealed. Like, as you were talking, and I was like, could she have put some makeup on them and like made them look a little more realistic? Like, could she have shadow contoured the underside and like speckled them or something, you know, just to give them more an illusion of reality? Maybe. And then they wouldn't have been so obviously fake. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Tina aside, I do think that everybody got the proper
Yeah.
notification, and that made it that much more difficult for me on the runway to be like, okay, this one's the top and this one's the bottom. Like, this one's because everyone kind of had a unique take. And I do want to say this. I wasn't wowed by Candy. I get the feeling that a lot of people were like, oh, it was so beautiful.
No.
So the hat, like the hat thing reminded me of Miss Cracker's infamous like hat made of hair.
Yeah,
So,
it was made of hair.
Right. So it gave me that like feeling all over again. And the fact that she's wearing like a nude bodysuit with all these beads and this big ass fur, I don't know. Like, it just, like, while it was beautiful, it didn't bowl me over.
I don't think it was a bodysuit.
She had something on.
Well, I don't think. Okay. So what we know for Candy is she's meant to be this kind of body positive, whatever. Um, I think she was wearing her top was literally whatever that the beaded thing was, and then she had the little pasties on her boobies, and then the bottom was a panty,
Maybe
and
that's
then
what I'm
she
thinking
had
about.
her um pantyhose and whatnot on.
Right.
So you got the sheer leg cover color. Because again, she sometimes doesn't do it, but sometimes she does. Sometimes we'll have the like pantyhose like giving us the body for the bottom. Sometimes she'll wear like a corset at her waist.
Right.
Sometimes she doesn't. It's always touch and go. And I think with this one, with the big like fur, she didn't need to wear her corseting things, her waist cinchers or whatever she has, because it wasn't necessary because
I think
the
what
fur was covering
well,
things.
but that's what I think it's coming down to. It just occurred to me, Damon, is like I think the fur was too much.
Mm.
I think the fur was too big. It was too bulky. It covered up too much of her. Because now that you're discussing all that, I'm like, I don't really remember any of that. But in Untucked, I remember when she was sitting down, how she had this beaded top, and that it like cupped her breasts, and that she had her areolas covered. Like, I mean, so I remember like, oh yeah, like that was a thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it just.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody like got check marks.
Uh-huh.
Denali did exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
I was expecting, like chandelier draping, dripping
Mm-hmm.
kind of, things. Um, I'm not really sure about what Lala Ree put together. Uh,
So Lala Ree was wearing at least the body top, like a leotard that had the beading kind of connected to it and at the hips, sort of like making like a beaded skirt. And then she had some on the body suit because it wasn't nude
mhm,
and it wasn't exactly her skin tone,
right.
but it was meant to be, I think, close to her skin tone. So maybe giving the nude illusion. Um, and it had like like I call it filigree, but it's probably not called that. But like the Mardi Gras themed like filigrees, kind of where beads kind of explode from the beads and go up
Mm.
in areas. I will admit, I did not notice the tear um, that Michelle seemed to notice, and I didn't notice it again. I didn't notice it until Michelle mentions it, and then they show it. But again, I'm probably distracted by the hair and the shaking of the beads and such.
Right.
You know.
Well, once Michelle pointed out, then I could not see it ever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was super obvious. And I thought it was interesting that Michelle kind of pointed it out because there is a part of me that's like, yeah, she's not wrong. Like, all you needed was some nail glue or something to like kind of
Mm-hmm.
seal it up. So how quickly did that happen right before walking on stage?
Yeah.
Or did it happen and nobody noticed, which is just, unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Um so yeah, I don't the hair for Lala Ree was a distraction to me. I was like, I don't think this hair goes with this outfit. Like,
Correct.
I don't have a problem with the hair or the volume, but I think for this particular look, it could have been smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I understand going big, but I thought it was too big. Like, there was just something
Mm-hmm.
about it that was like a little unruly, I guess. So yeah, like I mean, I thought overall that it looked really well. So I do want to say this. Well, maybe I'll save it for later, given what I see. Um, yeah, like I mean, I think that overall it was okay. I don't think it was a
Mm-hmm.
disaster.
Yeah.
But
It was. This was a good. It's one of the few, like I hate to say it, vague, um, runway challenges that they're given, or runway themes that we've been given, where every interpretation seemed accurate.
mhm.
We got like the chandelier, like crystal beading kind of thing. We got actual, like with Rosé's, like the whole thing kind of like literally like individually beaded, moment kind of, there. We got the Olivia's, like it wasn't fully beaded, but there was enough beads to kind of give it that moment, and the hair kind of thing. And then there was someone else. Was it Utica's? No. Um. Oh, I'll use Lala Ree Lala Ree and Elliot used like the Mardi Gras beads, and Simone used again like the little hair beads and did something very unique with it. That's the kind of, when I think of beads, that's the one you think of, the classic like plastic, multicolored, like hair kind of bead that has just a very little hole in it. Not a little hole, but a big enough hole for hair to get sewn through it. And getting that kind of look, especially the thing on her hair, I was done because it just looked so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ready to move on?
Let's do it.
All right, children. So it's time for snaps and eye rolls, the hits, the misses, the highs, and the lows of the episode. So, Damon, who are you going to give snaps to this episode?
So I am actually giving snaps to the Lip Sync for Your Life. Like, I was thoroughly impressed with this lip sync. I thought it was very well done. I thought they knew the song. They performed it well. For those that don't know or don't remember, the song was Kelly Clarkson's Whole Lotta Woman. And it was, it just was so, it was a good song and it worked so well.
Mm-hmm.
They both killed it. I was impressed and surprised by Elliot's performance. She was able I've not seen this. Like, that's sort of the thing. Like, we've not like really, like, we knew Elliot could perform, but I don't know if she was holding back in like the first lip sync that she did in the season or what, but this was totally different. And it felt like she was doing everything that she needed to do. She was playing with Lala. She was kind of snapping back and clapping back at Lala about the whole thing. She was performing the song and really, to me, intently like owning the song. Lala, I think, did a really great job with what she could do with it. I was impressed by the moves and the leg work and everything that kind of went with it. And again, I don't know. I felt, and I will own this, like you were saying, like you felt that Elliot kind of surpassed it. I think they hit it about the same level. And I was almost thinking double save.
I was wondering if that's when it was going to happen, if it happens at all this season.
Yeah.
This might have been the episode where I could see people would, I don't know if I can speak for the general public, would be satisfied, but I think it would have been an understood moment. And the way it was edited, it really kind of came across like that was going to be the potential, because Elliot gets saved, and then it's Lala Ree, and she says her name, You know what I mean? It's just, it was
Yeah.
paced just right
That's-
that I thought she was going to say,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that she was going to, you know, allow her to stay another week. But that was not the case.
Yeah.
So I was like,
No.
oh, okay.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Here
So yeah.
we are at that pleasantly surprised story arc thing where we thought Elliot was going to go home. Elliot does not go home. And then you're like, oh, okay. Maybe Lala Ree? Nope. Lala Ree, she go home. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are. Okay.
Yeah.
But I would have been okay with a double save. Like you were saying, like I felt like it just because the performance was that good.
Yeah.
So props to them for doing that. What about you, Gary?
So I said I have to give snaps because Simone is a fucking model. I mean, it was kind of self-evident when she walked into the workroom, even though I still hate that hair. But the way she carries her body and she presented that for that entrance look of all the Polaroids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
put together to make her shift dress outfit, I was like, oh shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this bitch knows how to pose. Like, she knows how to present a garment or whatever. And in this episode, she comes down the runway in this beaded outfit, and I was like, God damn. I'm like, she is just really, and I don't know modeling that well, but I really feel that she's at that caliber of some of the greatest, you know, models to have walked a runway. And then the bitch turns her back to the judges to walk to the back of the stage, and she has her name spelled out in beads.
In her hair.
I was like, okay, girl, I see you.
In her hair.
I see how, unfortunately for camera, it did not execute 100% the way you wanted, but it don't matter because everyone understands what you did.
Mm-hmm. We don't know what you did. We know what you did. We know what you did. Like, we got it.
Yeah.
Oh, she has constantly hit the runway like that. Like just wow. Pretty much every time I think about her runways. Was there anything I wasn't a particular fan of? I'm trying to think about. I don't think so. But like the run, she knows what she. Oh, there was one. There was in the fashion, in the spring, fall, or whatever they call that, day, night, whichever one she was in. Mama and the hoe. I don't know. It was something. Anyway, that was one I wasn't a particular fan of. But she knows how to sell a garment. Like if fashion like icons or whatever aren't going to be like scrambling for her, I don't know, or him, like, because again, he is a I forget his boy name, but he is a like a small, thin, but kind of there's a little bit of a build, has that rich skin color, like everything would look good on him. And if we go into the Simone moments, like I could see Simone rocking a runway in like Paris or wherever. New York Fashion Week, here she comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, snaps definitely to Simone for this episode because yet again, she's like proving she's really up there in terms of like how she presents. Let's get to the eye rolls. I'm intrigued to hear what yours are, Damon, because the way they're written, I'm.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm gonna go off of the last part because of who it is, but I don't know if it's what you're gonna say. So let's.
Okay. So I'll start with the first one. So I wrote down the Safe Queen / Olivia concerned. The Safe Queens is an eye roll because I'm noticing that we had a moment in Untucked with Rosé and Denali And who else was safe?
Got Mick.
Got Mick and Tina Burner,
Mm-hmm.
where Denali and Rose are kind of having this moment of they're not happy with them being safe. They're not appreciative of what's going on. And um I'm gonna use Trixie Mattel's favorite line from All Stars, which is that's a lot of emotion for being safe. Like I'm just gonna say it right now. Like
Thank you.
I am feeling this sort of way. I get it. You are doing great and you feel you're doing awesome and then you don't get like the high marks. I understand that. But for me to be blunt, this is the time to start to be okay with being safe. This is early enough in the show, in the competition, where safe is okay. Now, I understand the frustration of not getting critiques, of not winning challenges, of giving your all, blah, blah, blah. But you're still there.
Right.
4 queens or 5 queens have already gone home. Like, maybe you should be okay with being safe for right now. Because there's 13 of y'all and 5 of you have gone home. That's about a third, give or take. So be okay with that. I understand you want critiques, you want to know how to grow and improve and blah, blah, blah. You want to know what they're missing. But obviously you have done enough and maybe even more than enough to keep in the competition. So give it like maybe this episode, like the one that's coming next week, maybe now that's the time to kind of like be a little bit more mad or upset about being safe. Mm-hmm. Again, Denali in particular kind of got all up in the feels because she was getting dismissed on the runway, felt that was feeling that way, and then she was getting dismissed and untucked because they wouldn't let her get a word in. Well, you got Tina in there, so yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to be blunt and honest with you. Like Tina likes to talk. Tina likes to talk, so of course you're not going to get that moment. So, ugh. So my second kind of eye rolls at this moment. I am concerned about Miss Olivia, and I wrote it down because my concern is copying. And there's been a couple of instances already. And tonight's episode in particular, or last Friday's episode in particular, when you came out in that hair, the first thing I said was, "That's Candy's hair." Did you give Candy that hair? Did Candy give you her hair? Like, what's going on? And I mean, I get it. It worked. It was cute. It fit the challenge and theme. But we just saw that like a couple of episodes ago. Mm-hmm. If not a couple of episodes ago. Couldn't have done anything different with it.
Well,
couldn't have put it up in a ponytail. Couldn't have done something to like give it like a little just some kind of difference. And then we got the boxing thing from a couple of few weeks before that. I know she hasn't been a queen for a long time, and that's where my concern is falling. Is that you're seeing things that are getting good marks or high marks, mm-hmm. and you're bringing it into your drag as you grow and do more drag. It's a technique I've seen done with queens before. I'm not necessarily saying I hate it. It's something that happens, but it is causing me a concern.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if that's where you were going with this, because this is what I wanted to comment on. And since you gave me the intro, I will say this. Someone that I know that I is mostly an acquaintance online apparently watches RuPaul's Drag Race because they did screenshots and they were like, why is nobody talking about the theft that is obviously going on? And was showing pictures of Olivia Lux's runways compared to other runways within the same season. And so, for the record, and I think I mentioned this previously, Olivia posted on her Twitter after the bag ball when she did the boxing look, which was kind of an homage to Muhammad Ali's daughter. Like, yes, I can understand that people clocked it and said that she was ripping off of Simone. And Olivia said, here's my original sketch. Here's what it came out as. Like, it was fully conceived ahead of the show. It had nothing to do with it. And I think to discover that another queen has a very similar look will be a little off-putting, but you have to make a choice. You have to, like, go by your original decision or completely change it up. And we know that that's happened. Candy said that her trains look had to be modified because whatever she brought wasn't going to work. Now, rumor on the internet is that Candy had brought an outfit that had a 47-foot long train. And production told her no. That it was too much. And I find that interesting because if that's true, then that really does suck to show up with an outfit and to have production say no. But it's not the first we've heard of it. Like in All Stars, when Manila was told she couldn't wear the period dress. You know, the maxi pad look. You know, that was a whole controversy in and of itself, whatever. So, yeah, so this episode, yes, Olivia wears a look and immediately it looks like it's Candy's hair. You bring up an excellent point, though, Damon. Is it really Candy's hair, or was it Olivia's hair that Candy borrowed? Because that was for the bag ball, and it was for the runway look that you put together yourself. So did Candy borrow Olivia's hair and put barrettes in it to replace the beaded balls? Because the hair does change from character to character, although the color palette seems similar and the look does seem similar. So I agree with you. I was nervous for Olivia when she walked out, and I was like, she looked like she's wearing like what Candy wore, kind of, a little bit. So,
well, not really, but
I know. Well, the hair is the key
the
thing.
hair is very similar, and it did have the balls. Like, that's what we call them, like the balls. It also had Candy's hair also had the balls in it. They both had the balls in them.
Really?
Candy didn't have barrettes. Yeah.
I thought that Candy's had like little clip plastic barrettes everywhere instead of balls. So yeah, like it's kind of obvious that hair was borrowed one direction or another.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I haven't seen anything like during this episode. I was actually kind of looking on Facebook a little bit because there's a part of me that's curious to know if this is really a thing or not a thing, you know, or if people are just, you know, going to be assholes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's again, my main concern is like Olivia is, we talked about it before. Olivia is a younger queen. She's not been doing this long, but she seems very surprisingly polished and seasoned for someone who hasn't been doing this a long time. Could that be the background that she has in theater and arts? Possibly. But there's also these moments where I'm seeing, like I said, these copying. I'm using the word copying, but I think that's the best way to put it without calling it outright theft. I don't want to call it theft because I don't think it's theft. Because just as an example, the punching bag look was completely different colors.
Correct. One was pink, one was blue.
Yeah, or red. Anyway, yeah, Simone's was red, right? Red and gold.
No, it was blue. Girl.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Hers was blue,
Anyway.
and Olivia's had that big, like, lovely, like, lined pink.
Yeah, I
kinda
know that Olivia's was pink. I did remember that.
cape jacket. For the record, by the way, since I decided to go to Olivia's like tweet, like channel profile, whatever wall, because we were talking about it, and it was bugging me because I didn't remember seeing anything. So a day ago, she retweeted Candy's post in which Candy said, "No, I did not lend Olivia my wig. Great minds think alike, and we're two little brown girls from the hood. We grew up with that hairstyle. That's my little sister, and she deserved her win tonight." And Olivia reshared it and just said, "I love you, sis." So I guess that's
that. You know, again, like I said, so it's obviously not like Candy borrowed her hair or Olivia borrowed Candy's hair. Like it's definitely two separate wigs. It just is coincidence.
that
And
they look
again,
alike, if not identical.
Again, I'm concerned, and these are my concerns.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't follow Candy, so that's why I didn't see her post. I'm curious. I'm looking through her stuff to see. Because I'm looking back. No, that's not it. That was from this episode. I was trying to see if I could find a shot of her hair from when she was in the bag look, only because I'm like, can anyone really tell the difference between the two? If you can't, then that's where everyone's coming with all the criticism. You know, because they're basically like, it's the same hair. And the only way you could prove that it isn't the same hair is if you had a photo of both of you wearing the same hair side by side or holding two sets of hair. But the only way to do that is to have a phone, and you're not allowed to have a phone because you're on set. So, like...
yay. Thanks, RuPaul's Drag Race family. The Facebook page. There is a picture on their page because they're talking about resemblance, and it's 6 pictures kind of collaged together, and it has Candy Muse and Olivia Lux next to each other, and then because of the hair, I'm assuming because of the hair and kind of the look, and then they have Latrice and Gottmik because of the big, anal beads and latex anal beads that Gottmik was wearing, and the latex challenge that Latrice did, I think, she did in All Stars. And then the last picture is Gigi Good in her Michelle Visage look, and Utica in her mom look from the improv from Bossy Rossy. That's kind of like their resemblance, quote unquote. So so you look at the hair, and as I'm kind of just really quickly looking at this, and I have a big picture of Candy's up. I can't find a bigger picture of Olivia's hair. It is similar. The big difference is the colors of the balls in her hair, in each wig's hair. Candy's is darker red, a lighter green, and blue, and maybe like there's a couple of like a lighter purples. Olivia's has yellow, light blue, pink, and purple to kind of go in the color scheme of the jumper skirt she's wearing. So now, don't get me wrong. Yes, you could potentially have the balls available and do all that. But considering the wig choice, I doubt you're going to have time to do all that shit. Because there's like at least 1, 2, 3, as I'm looking at Candy's hair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ball, like, loopy things on a section of hair.
Right.
So you ain't going to have time to do that on RuPaul's Drag Race. So that is coming pre-fucking made. So
here's what the internet needs to shut this down. So apparently Candy and Liv have done like co-live Instagram stuff or whatever. and they're both in hair. So what I just realized is, all right, bitches, you just both have to put your hair on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, like in a video live streaming, the two of you, both wear the same hair of that style, so you could show like the differences between them, and it just happens to be coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will own it is coincidence, but I will also think I still my concerns are still I think still there. I I need more from Olivia to kind of get this feeling off of my back, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, that's where my head is. Like I'm appreciating it, but I'm worried. I'm concerned. Um, this was her second win. She did 2 in a row, so good for her. Um, so we'll see what happens with her.
Interesting.
Gary.
Sorry, I'm going to share this with you right now because I wasn't following Simone before, but she did a whole homage to RuPaul in a music video type thing about the black hair. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so I agree. Like the Olivia thing, hopefully this discontinues the rest of the season and everyone can just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And let the queens be queens. My eye rolls are for, drum roll please. Oops. We don't have a drum roll sound effect. Good enough. Utica.
Oh my.
I'm a little concerned. Because you did the stupid thing. Well, it's not really stupid, but for editing purposes, it was not good. You gave them what was not needed, which was, oh, I've done improv lots of times. I've been in 4 different groups and done it for 4 years. Da 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 da.
It so didn't look like it.
And then you showboated,
Mm-hmm.
which you alluded to briefly. And now, like, here we are. So, I'm glad you didn't get eliminated, but I did get nervous, girl. Because I didn't necessarily have a problem with the runway.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was definitely more fashion.
Yes.
So it had a lot more elements than just beads.
Mm-hmm.
I think the straps for the bottom of the dress would have been better if they had been beads themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to actual like fabric straps or leather straps, whichever they were. I think that it would have elevated that look if they had been like indestructible strings of pearl beads. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that probably could have maybe been a winning look. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little concerned because if she doesn't start showing different things or developing differently, I guess, as a character based on how they're putting things together, then she's going to be the kooky queen. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really fair because I think she has a lot more to serve. So I don't know if that, like, in the storyline arc, like, edit, they're trying to make her look a certain way.
Yeah.
So that she reveals more later.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I felt like she kind of shot herself in the foot with this whole, like, I've done improv for da 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 da, and and I'm just like, well, then you could have done, like they said, you could have done any character, like, and been really, you supposedly could have been really great in it, but then you chose to be, so you were the mom, and that was a choice. That was a choice for what you did with it. I kind of was getting it a little bit, but okay. The outfit did not go with what I think you were going for. Let me just kind of break it down. Like if you were trying to be a cougar mom that was upset that your child would talk, it didn't necessarily come off that way.
Right.
You came off as a vapid, like, why do I have a child, mom? Which didn't make sense in the narrative that was presented before you came on stage.
Yeah.
Like, I got it in a sense because, you know, thank God for Olivia. I'm just gonna be like, that's the thing, because we got that moment where she kind of exploded out of it because she was trying to say something, and I was like, yeah. And I got what you were going with, what you were doing. Like, she's always so loud and she's talking when she's not saying a damn thing at all. I cerebrally, that's not a word, but whatever. Got that. I got the concept, but it doesn't play out well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter, it's a bit of overthinking.
Yeah, I agree. And that was my concern is, you know, if we're potentially setting up the next queens to be eliminated, then it's possibly Elliot and Utica that aren't looking so hot. And this isn't part of my notes, but I wanted to circle back to what you were saying about like with the safe queens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we really need Alyssa Edwards in this moment. Bitch, sit your ass down and shut up. Like, I'm sorry. Y'all just being whiny cunts. You're safe, and you're in your feelings because you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because you
Like
don't
I
want to be
said.
safe. You want to be in the top. But there's too many queens to be in the top. You know what I mean? Like, strategically,
Yeah.
6 queens were left on the stage. 4 were safe. 4 of you were safe. Put your ass back in the workroom. 6 are on the stage. 3 are, if you divide it by numbers, 3 are in the bottom, 3 are in the top. That's the formula of the show. One of the top 3 will end up winning. One of the bottom 3 will be saved. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of surprising to me, but then there's a part of me that's like, maybe they're really having fun playing into the narrative of this television show. Like, Tina definitively, and Candy, without a shadow of a doubt, understands the concept of entertainment and being in front of cameras and character and all that shit. So I was just like, I feel for Denali a little bit, but I was like, oh, what? Did you catch whatever Elliot has? Like, what's going on around here? Like, are they putting something in the air? You know, like, are they giving these, you know, kids something specifically to drink or to eat that's making them super emotional? Like, I don't know. So
I just know it was getting to me that Denali and Rose were feeling like they want to know more. And I understand that. And you will probably get that opportunity one way or the other soon.
Well, right.
Like,
So here's what it comes down to is it's called patience, bitches. Like all you have to do is wait for the other queens to leave. You'll get your feedback soon enough. You just have to wait for 2 or 3 more to exit and hit the door. Like, and then you'll be in front of the judges, and then you'll be getting the feedback whether you like it or not. You know, like, so
yeah, you're gonna be hearing something.
Yeah. So just
and my
calm your
concern,
tatas.
huh?
I said, calm your tatas.
Yeah,
Lord.
my concern, your big fake plastic tatas. Again, shit. I totally meant to do that. Again, I get it. You put a lot out there. Like, the drag has been really awesome. What you've been doing, I get it that it's great, but there are still a lot of people there. There's still the possibility of you doing great, but not like so great, or doing so bad that you fall into those other 2 camps. So give it some time and you'll be fine.
And if you're part of the front runner group that you think you are, just wait a week. Shit's gonna change up. Anyways. So if you would like to let us know your thoughts, there's plenty of ways to do that. You could go visit our blog at cubsoutloud.com. You can send us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com, or you could actually call and leave us a voicemail message. And to do so, you would dial 361 COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255.
It's right there.
That's true. It's right there. It's right over there. You could dial that number right at the bottom of the screen. And we'd be happy to play it on an episode if you'd like. Social media, obviously, you can type in Cubs Out Loud anywhere, pretty much just one word, and find us on there. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you would like to join the chat, which the moratorium
I'm doing it right now.
I figured as much. Let the chat group know over at tinyurl.com/telegram or -COLDR for a discussion about the show. I'll be curious to see what some of the entourage has to say this week about how the episode went. If you would like to know about what's going on when we're recording our regular series and when we're going to be live with those, because in case you didn't know, we record these to YouTube, pretty much. So you can go to tinyurl.com/calendar-col to see about that. If you are interested in our merch, there are several different items available. You can go to zazzle.com/cubsoutloud and get some different items like the hat that I'm wearing, this version of a long sleeve shirt I've got, or over my shoulder over here is the Consent is My Foreplay drag queen t-shirt. I just didn't feel like putting it on tonight. I was already comfortable.
I grabbed my shawl thing and
nice. Just feeling herself. Look out. If you would like to subscribe to our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/cubsoutloud for $1 a month. You get extended versions of the shows that include the before and afters, some of the behind the scenes stuff as well. And there's some other benefits and rewards for higher tier levels. We have a new shirt design that's going to be coming very soon. I'm excited about. And if you just want to make a one-time donation, you can do that. You can go to paypal.me. That's paypal.me/cubsoutloud. And you can just make any kind of donation that you want through there. We
drop the coin.
Appreciate it. Helps pay for the domain and the website and some of the equipment and stuff. If you would like to rate us on iTunes, 5 stars, please. Thank you very much. Along with a comment, we would greatly appreciate it. You can also obviously subscribe pretty much anywhere that a RSS feed for a podcast is available. As I was saying, we put these through to YouTube as video. But we also have the audio version. And for COLDR specifically, there is an RSS feed for just Cubs Out Loud Drag Race. So you can go into your podcast group, right, and just listen to us that way. You get the regular cut, though. If you want the full version, the uncut, then you have to become a patron. And then you get the access to that version as well. Damon, if they want to get in touch with you online, where would they go?
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79 on most bear-related sites or on Facebook. Or you can find me as Pup_Umbra on Twitter. The Twitter is definitely not safe for work and includes like everything from like Drag Race to porn. So there you go.
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gabber73. Specifically, when it comes to things drag, I had created a Twitter account Gerber73 DRAG. I don't know what happened there. There's a moment.
Well, I had a yawn.
I know. This episode has exhausted us. So with that, we're going to say goodnight, everybody. Bye. My brain is broken, apparently.
Oh, did you? Why?
No, I just like, bleh, 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 like couldn't talk at the very end. I don't know what that was about.
It happens. It happens. I am having these like. I know for me, it's tired. Like I'm tired. Like I got up